Hello, in this video we're going to look at online customer inquiries. We're going to find out how it all goes together and how it will work for you and your business. So, the first thing we need to look at is the online customer inquiry, which is driven by the customer. It's your customer who is going to go to your website and put the inquiry in. Here is an online inquiry form that can be put into any website, either, as in this case, an iDiaries website. However, it can also be done by a componentized solution and dropped into an existing website. So let's just look at the form and familiarize ourselves with the form. First of all, we capture the first name, the last name, the job title. We can capture the job title, department, mobile number, and most important of all is the email address. Obviously the first and last name are required information, hence them having a star behind them. We have a box for the inquiry, and we then have an option whether they want to opt in or opt out of marketing material. Finally, to prevent you being spammed with spam requests by automated systems, we have a reCAPTCHA system that will provide for human intervention in actually de-encrypting these images here and working out what the challenge means. This is a great way of stopping you getting bombarded with hundreds of emails. We then finally have the inquire button. We'll come back to this in a second. So we have the customer. The customer's filled in the information as we've already seen. So when we press that inquire button, what actually happens? Well, what actually happens is that we take the information that's in the website on the inquiry form and it gets added into the database, and user information goes into the customer management system. So we capture the name, the first name, the last name and the email address, and as much information as the customer has added in. But the great beauty of the iDiaries system is we also put the information straight into the prospect system. And this is quite important. A lot of websites will simply send an email to you to say that somebody has entered details in the contact details form. If that email goes missing, then you will lose out. As with iDiaries, we actually make sure that not only do you capture as much of the information as possible, you have a way of making sure that information goes into a database. However, at this stage, what we're going to do then, as a recap, we're going to press the inquiry button. That will then automatically put the name into the database and create a prospect for us. So, let's go and have a look at that. I'm now going to press the inquire button. A message will appear telling your customer that the inquiry has been submitted successfully. I shall now go to iDiaries. In iDiaries, we need to go to the left hand menu, we need to go to prospects, and we need to select all prospects. The reason why is the fact that at the moment the prospect that I have just entered here is not assigned to any member of staff. Let's go and have a look at this prospect. If I click on the prospect and double click on it, I can now open the prospect. And I can now start working on the prospect. I will put the prospect into edit. And as we always say, we work in a logical method whenever we work with the prospect system, which is down, across, down, across, down, across, down. In this occasion, what I'm going to do very briefly is assign the call. Moving into the main area down here, I'm now going to go and look at emails / letters. And here is the text that was put in from the web form. It's up to you now how you deal with the prospect. If the prospect requires you to call them back, or you need to work with them, then simply move over here, move over the 3 dots here, and we can view the contact details. The contact details here give us the mobile number and the email address of the person that left the online inquiry. We can now ring them up and talk to them. After we've taken the correct decision on the prospect, we now need to move back to the status and make a decision where it is. So if the prospect is not required any further, simply move it to cancelled. If, however, you've made a start with the prospect and you've understood their question and they would like more information from you, move it to the started process and simply save the record. I draw your attention to the fact that the statuses on the prospect system may differ depending on your company's setup of iDiary's prospect, because your system administrator can change the status queues. Very briefly, if we just click on My Prospects, that's because we assigned the call to myself, Gibbons here, and click on My Prospects, we will now see that the prospect is in the list here. If we go back to our diagram, we've seen that the information is taken from the website, it's being dropped into the prospect system here, and we can now see that the information is also now in the customer system. This means that you can actually now start building up the rich tapestry of information regarding this individual. Obviously, it's not just the case of getting the information into the prospect system and the CRM system that you've gained from. Because if we move beyond the basics of that, you now have information in the marketing system. So, with one simple form, we've now created a direct link between the marketing system and the prospect system. Again, showing you the truly integrated nature of iDiaries and how it can help your business gain greater efficiencies. There is more you can do with the inquiry form. I hope this brief tour of how the prospect system and the online inquiry form integrate will help you and your business.